That's right. Welcome back, everybody. It's Grit and Grace with Jennifer and Merideth. I am your girl, Merideth.
I'm your girl, Jennifer.
Yes, and if you're just tuning in, of course, you can catch us every Saturday morning from 8 to 10, just sharing about our lives, things going on in the community, and us getting to really get an idea of other organizations that are happening right here in our community to make a difference. And that includes a lot of the leaders. So we are thrilled to have the Dream Producers team on here. It includes Shannon, Mo, and Di. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes. So as I was saying right before the break, because you inspired our top three, okay, that you are yourselves some entrepreneurs. And how did this all happen where it comes together? Because Dream Producers is a collaborative effort, a workshop that really is a whole team effort to host this for a lot of those leaders or prospective leaders wanting to look to make a change in their lives, right? So how did this all get started?
You know, it started with a dream, actually, because I woke up in the middle of the night one night really just trying to think, how can I share the gift that I've been given? And I went to Di and had a conversation with her because she and I networked together. And she's like, I need to talk to Mo about this. So she talked to Mo, and here we are.
Wow. So really, and so y'all do network together, right? So if you'll tell me, Di and Mo, tell me how you felt or really, wanted to, I'm sure Di was like a complete hop in. Mo, how did you get involved?
Well, me and Di do pretty much everything together.
Oh, you do?
Yes. We're like you two.
Yeah.
We're like the other Grit and Grace.
Oh, how cute. Okay. I love it. Don't take our jobs. I love it. I love it. So yeah, it just happened that you, of course, are so close already. So when you heard about it, you were completely on board, right?
Yes.
Oh, good. Well, and I want to know, because I say February, do y'all have the date finalized? Which one is it?
February 22nd.
It will be? Okay, February 22nd. And it's going to be here locally. So a lot of really, are you based out of Montgomery County or on the north side of town?
I live in Tomball.
We're both in Spring. We're neighbors.
Oh, great. Okay. Oh, it's all
There's a
coming
lot of scary.
It's all coming together. Well, no, I mean, I got to meet this young one, listen, this little kid, I met her at church, so I know what you mean. You get to meet some of the good friends and those other fellow, leaders amongst you in the community. So
Don't forget I'm your elder.
I'm sorry, you don't have a mic now. So
Don't forget I'm your elder.
Oh, that's right. Dang it. I thought that would work, ladies. I was like, boop, boop. No, I'm kidding. So really explain how, what is going to be involved with the workshop. How can people really get involved if they want to either register or just get a better idea of what's going to be hosted as far as discussed or really empowered for a lot of the attendees?
So the dream behind the event really is to share what we've learned through entrepreneurship, how we did what we did, how we've gotten to where we've gotten in our lives. We're all three retired. Di does some work. She still teaches. She's a professor. She does some other things, but she does those because she enjoys them. We want to share that with the world, but the idea behind the event is not just to share what we've done, but also to share what entrepreneurship is about. So we're going to have a financial advisor there that's going to teach about wealth management. We're going to have a digital marketing person there that's going to teach about building your business on social media. We have a third attendee that we're hoping to have, but we have not finalized yet, so you'll have to follow us at Dream Producers.
Oh, I smell a tease. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, and I love that because I think if we were, and of course I am not an entrepreneur because like I told you, I think that's, and I'm sure that's what will also be discussed is kind of really demystifying this whole scary and kind of fear of, being out there and kind of taking and killing for your own meat, as I say, which I know is kind of, but it's an accurate term. Like that for me, I'm like, man, you got to really have some guts to be able to get out there. But as I've learned and when I've met other leaders and entrepreneurs, that when it's your passion, it's your passion. You can't stop yourself from doing it. And, for sure, Jen and I could probably agree as far as, you catch us here every Saturday morning for a reason, right? So that's something where we can definitely relate. But what else do you think a lot of the listeners probably, how do they start? Where do you start with, like, I'm not happy? How do I start thinking the next steps? Is it something that can be done with the team as far as at the workshop, kind of brainstorming those ideas? And what are your thoughts on it?
To get into my teaser? Let's just say you might just happen to find a life coach or something along that line.
Oh, so a life coach, that is a great idea.
What I have found in the entrepreneur industry is that there are a ton of people that are either stuck in a job that they don't feel appreciated, or they're tired and they're working 9 to 5 and they're trading time for dollars, and they just don't know how to make ends meet, and they want something more. Or maybe they're in their job and they love their job, but they don't have purpose. So they don't have passion, and they don't know, they like what they're doing, but they're just not getting full fulfillment.
Sure.
Those kind of things are the things that we want to show people. It's easy to do. And most people think you can't be an entrepreneur unless you have several $100,000 to start something. And that's true in the brick and mortar world. But it's not necessarily true in the entrepreneurship world. And so our idea is to help people find what they're passionate about so that they can turn that into income for themselves.
Okay. And when you say brick and mortar, does that mean starting your own storefront business in essence, something tangible like that versus with an idea and building it? Okay. Just want to make sure because, listen, my wheels are turning. I'm like, and what does that mean?
Yeah.
No,
Are you thinking about the fence in the Cadillac?
I am, ladies. If anyone tunes in, you know that's my dream, my hope. One day, a fence and a Cadillac. Living out here in the country, fences are a lot more premium than I anticipated. City girl, it came with the property. Here, not so much. So you got to get it, and they're not cheap. But anyway, one day, me and you. Yes? Oh, okay. I'm waiting. I'm like. Oh.
I don't have a mic now.
Oh, that's right. She doesn't have a mic.
She doesn't have a mic. I stole her mic.
I can't do it. Sorry, that was totally random. Jen has a talent where she can laugh hysterically and then pause. I'm trying to get there. I can't. Sorry. Totally random. That's why we have our ADD moments together. Okay, so I'm wanting to start my own business. And luckily, go to the workshop. I find out, because to me, those are the two, well, now that a little bit of the teas, but, those are some foundational pieces that I would be at least sticking out in my mind, like, how do I do it, right? And I am a marketer by day, as I like to say, like I'm a superhero. So I definitely understand the importance of the social media and the marketing aspect. But you're right, the finance. I mean, that's something that people, they have these lofty dreams, i.e. me, but then you don't get down to like the nuts and bolts of how to make it happen, right? So do you think that's where some of the bigger kind of bottlenecks for people have been?
Yeah, well, I would say not really the financial part, because everyone always thinks that it's going to cost a lot or it's not going to cost a lot.
Right.
But it's more importantly what me and Shannon were talking about before when we were in this idea and we were brainstorming, what are we going to do? How can we create something to give back? This is more than anything else. We're trying to give back of what we've already learned and trying to skip some of the hardships that we've had from where we were. I also was in the corporate world for a very long time. So we decided, who were we when we were in that realm? Who were we when we were in corporate? We were giving a lot to our companies, to our bosses, a lot of hours, traveling a lot, and I'm like, why can't I do that for myself? But the number one thing that we found was we didn't know that there was another option. And that's what this seminar is all about. This workshop is there are other options. And when we want to put a platform out there to get people to spark that idea. Like, I can do something else. Or maybe I can talk to my friend and we can start brainstorming. But you never know what this workshop is going to develop. If it's going to be another business, or it's going to be maybe you just doing something that's nonprofit, or maybe something that you'll start just within your community. But just knowing that there's other options to fill your passion that maybe your job is not doing, or whatever you're doing that's from 8 to 5, or maybe from, as I used to work mid-shifts as well, something else that's going to help you fulfill that passion that's in your heart.
Well, and I think that's got to be so rewarding for the team, too, to be able to have those moments. It's kind of like how I correlate it to, a little kid, and when they get that idea or when it connects, they're like, that there's got to be those moments, too, for a lot of those up-and-coming leaders that are just trying to scratch the surface. And when those moments connect and they feel like they've found that merriment of a good passion that will sustain, the bills, if you will, paying the bills, that's got to be just something that's, I mean, so rewarding to you. But I mean, I imagine you yourselves have felt that way too, to be able to get to this point where you want to pass on, right? That is really cool. And again, I admire all entrepreneurs because it takes, I mean, all kinds of guts though to be able to get out there and make it happen. And even just the attempt to in itself, I mean, hands down, just I love it. Love it, love it. Because yeah, like I said, it's not easy. I can only imagine.
It's not easy, but a lot of people think that that success becomes something that happens to people. It's not something that happens to people.
Yeah.
Success takes grit. And if you have grit, you can be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, well, and Jen, look at you. She's all, well, bam. Okay, Shannon, let's be clear. You did not just qualify Jen. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, actually, this young lady, yes, if she wanted something to happen, she would make it happen. And that's what I love, too, about entrepreneurs. And frankly, just a lot of people that I know. And, I guess you're magnetized or really drawn to other people like yourself in that sense, that strong people that are going to get things done. So that is really cool. And, yes, I definitely believe in you. Don't hit me. Okay. I'm all talking to Jen.
I'm not going to hit you.
Good. She can't reach me over here, by the way, ladies. Don't worry. I already tried. Not intentionally. I mean, I've kicked her
I don't have a mic. I can get up and walk around.
Oh, please. Don't. Please don't. Okay. Well, and I think, and this is not something that's just strictly for women, correct? Because you are trying to empower all those in the community. And I know we happen to just be a great group of powerful women right here. But this is a co-ed situation, correct?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
what are one of the things that you're looking forward to, ladies? If we could kind of take turns, because I'd love to hear from each of you what kind of you're looking forward to at the workshop to make whether it be those connections or the before or after, what is your biggest draw to that day or event?
Well, I am passionate about impacting lives. There's so much that we can teach each other, and like Mo said, people don't know there are options. People go through the motions every day. They're stuck in a rut. They're miserable. They're not happy with their life, but they're scared. They're scared to make a move. So we're hoping with this workshop to impact, to get people thinking, to say there are options out there. And when we impact lives, when you say something about our passion, what makes your heart sing? It makes my heart sing when somebody says, wow, I can do this. I can change my life. I can pay my mortgage at the end of the month. I'm struggling right now, but you're giving me an option that I can make an extra $500 a month, that I can grow that into a full income. And that's what makes my heart sing, to change and impact lives.
That is great, Di. What about you, Mo?
So the main thing that for that day, is what I'm thinking about is starting the conversation. A lot of people don't want to start the conversation of something else, which is amazing when you can get somebody to sit down and actually start talking to them and hearing what their hopes and dreams are. Because a lot of people think that that's the end. Like they don't have to hope and dream anymore because they're taking care of their family. They don't think that they can fulfill their heart anymore because they have obligations. But being able to sit down and hear somebody's dreams and where they want to go and starting that conversation, for me, I just need one person. And it's all about building relationships, because when you get in a rut and you get, you're constantly doing something every single day and it becomes norm, you forget about yourself and you forget what you want to do in this world. And people lose themselves.
No, and that really hits home, I think, with me and probably a lot of the listeners out there, because I think typical, U.S. citizens, we're very blessed in our country, but, the U.S. dream, you go, of course, grow up, have a family, the pressure to have a family, start that next gen, and then the pressure of the responsibility, which not a lot of people remind you of. Hey, once it happens, that beautiful, happily ever after, bam, that's a life that you have, and you have to really step up. And yeah, it's tough making ends meet, but the pressure when you have a family to really support is, wild. So then, yes, you get into the autopilot, and it's got to be challenging for, all of us. We all have our seasons, but particularly if you just feel like it's just not working, right? And it's like one of my other sayings, you can't make a circle fit into a square. Like, it's just not going to work, and after a while you keep trying and trying, but when you call it like it is, and it takes time because we all get, ingrained from early on how it's supposed to be, the 9 to 5. Making sure you do this, so it's really hard when you have to break out of that. And I'm just so impressed that I get to be a part of, privy to watching fellow entrepreneurs, because it's just amazing to see that y'all are breaking the mold. You're giving those options, like you said, and kind of helping us to retrain ourselves from getting outside that, not that we've been duped, but that whole idea, just like, not to, again, talk about just ladies, but the fairy tale, like I wish somebody would have said, hold on. Let's take it back before we start filling these heads, right? So, but I still want the fairy tale, of course. They got me.
But also too, it's so important that you create relationships. I think the best advice that we can give anyone, even if they don't go to our workshop, but the first step of getting outside of your zone is relationships.
Right.
You need to be in a room with people that want to grow, that want to fulfill some sort of a passion. They want to do something else than going to work every single day for something that they feel like is an obligation.
Right.
That's the best advice that we can give anyone. Once you get in the realm, when you're surrounding yourself, like what we're doing right now with these all as amazing women, it starts lighting a fire. You start hearing things, and that's what the spark.
Absolutely. Well, and we all know, put a group of determined women together, we can build everything and anything. We just need 24-hour notice. 24-hour notice, where is Walmart? And bam, we can make it happen, right? Well, and I'm being playful, but in the sense of, we have that, and I think that that's not just women, but entrepreneurs. It's in the blood. You're kind of programmed to be that problem solver instead of the type of person. And we all have those moments. I'm not saying your whole life you're like, oh, no matter what, it's going to get solved. But in the sense of when you have a predicament, you are figuring out how to make it happen, and of course, a lot of prayer. So it's something.
And checklist.
What's that?
That's when grit comes out.
Yes. Did you say checklist, Mo?
Yes. I have one ready. Did you say predicament?
I am so I got goosebumps at the idea.
Are you ignoring me?
What do you mean predicament? Did I said
You
checklist.
said predicament.
Oh, did I? Oh, that happens all the time. I did major in communications, ladies. Me, articulate, not so much, yes. But no, that I love the checklist. She had me, it was like, you had me at hello. I was like, oh, checklist? In my little notebook there, I have my action items, to-do list, gotta get it done, like all these little things. And it's so okay, I got, again, a squirrel. But Mo, I'm there.
Yeah, she's a checklist person, definitely, and I am not.
Well, and
we balance each other out very well.
Oh, see, as do we. But I think that that's something, too, just to speak of, like, you got to have a plan, right? And that's something that I'm sure you're going to be speaking of that day.
There's always a plan.
Okay, you got to watch the video because Mo's eyes are so expressive. They're so cute. She was like, oh, yes, us together? Yeah. We got to have a plan. Well, no, and I admire that, too, because, you can get off, especially when you enjoy what you do and you enjoy the people you are with. You can definitely go on a rabbit trail like I do with this young lady all the time. But luckily, she regulates me and keeps me on track. But you need those regulators in your life. And more importantly, you need the plan, right? So and maybe that's something that it can be a hiccup or a hindrance. I can't speak this morning. But for a lot of people that are like, I'm not organized. I just know I'm unhappy. Like, what do you tell them then? Is it something that you really kind of have try to have a kumbaya moment where you're like, let's get together and kind of think? Do you recommend the lifestyle coach method? Maybe some of there's kind of personality versus occupation quizzes or something like that? Or do you, because I know I've been told before that when I get excited, my eyes sparkle. So whenever I was like, well, I'm torn between this job and this job. And I remember one of my mentors at the time, he's like, well, when you started talking about this one, your eyes lit up and you're really excited. So I think that's where, so what are some of those indicators that you've seen to really help people identify?
It's more of just asking the right questions to get them to think. See, if you give everybody their answer, it's not going to sustain.
Yeah.
But if you help them find their answer, it's forever. So the point is you have to ask those questions to get them to find the spark in their own eye.
Yeah.
Because once they find that spark in their own eye, they're done. They're sold. You're never going to turn them back. They will become, at that point, unemployable.
Oh, I love that. Look, she's like, and you're done.
And I want to add something on that because when she was in the corporate world, Shannon was my boss.
Oh.
So,
boss lady.
something that she always, she used to be my boss. Now she's just my friend. So,
just my friend. I know what you mean, though. When it
You've been
transitions.
promoted.
Something that she always said was, when she was talking about, I'm not going to give you the answer. She would say, come to me with an answer or come to me with a solution and I will tell you if you're right or not.
Ooh.
So then it made me start to think, okay, I know that I need to do this, this, and this to get from point A to point B. And so I would say, okay, if I do it like this, is this the way I need to do it? And then she could say, yes. Or if not, she could say, yes, but, and then she could steer me back in the right direction.
I love it. Shannon, you must take my son for a week. I love it. But in the meantime, I'm going to
just... And then eat cauliflower, too.
Yeah.
That's not my job. That's Grit over here.
Y'all are so hilarious. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I'm going to continue about why I love that statement and what Jen just said, and then also just about the group itself and the Dream Producers Workshop coming up. So listeners, stay tuned. We've got more with the team here with Dream Producers right here on Grit and Grace. It's just a few more minutes, and we'll be back.